All right. Well, welcome back, everyone, to Blue Collar Startup. I'm one of your hosts, Mike Nelson from Five Towers Media, joined by the other host.
I'm Mr. Derek Foster from Daigle Cleaning Systems.
We're still working on our
So,
timing on that.
yeah, we'll get there.
We'll get there sooner or later. Figure by episode 100, we'll get there. Um, and we are joined by a couple folks today. Well, actually, I'll let you guys introduce yourselves. That way I don't butcher your last names like I normally do with everyone. And so go ahead, guys, tell us who you are and your business and what you do.
So my name is Nick Zilgit. This is my wife, Kayla. Our company is Trojan Home Services, LLC. We specialize in residential painting and minor home improvements. Just starting out, but it's looking good so far. Really good
Yeah.
so far.
Yeah, Derek and I were really excited to have you guys on, just because we have not yet interviewed anyone that's like just starting out,
Yeah.
right? So this offers
Right.
a really unique situation for us to kind of talk to you about, getting set up and not just the usual stuff of like what made you, make the jump into being business owners, but kind of like what you've been going through getting set up and the trials and tribulations. And so we're excited about that. So welcome to the Blue Collar Startup.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Yeah,
Appreciate it a lot.
absolutely. So, one of the first questions I know that I wanted to ask you guys, and I know we'll get into what made you jump into it, but um, it's a really great time to be getting into this kind of business. At least I think it is, right? There's,
Yes.
you look at those home services, right? Like
Right.
25 years ago, everybody knew how to do everything, right? Like people did their own plumbing, their own wiring, they did all their own stuff. But now we, look just one generation later and people really don't know how to do a lot of things right now. So
Right.
It's a lost trade.
it really is. Yeah. A lot
Yeah,
of trades
there's
are.
not a lot of people my age that are even in this type of business at all. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
So
definitely a benefit.
tell us about the things. So painting and home services, like what are the things that you're actually doing?
So my bread and butter is residential painting, but I also do a lot of, drywall, patchwork, trim. I could do tile. I could do a lot of different things.
Floor.
So floors, LVT flooring and things like that.
Yeah.
Plan on doing a lot more. That's why I went with the name Home Services. So I wasn't, geared towards just one thing.
Yeah. Tied down to just one
So-
thing. Yeah.
And why Trojan? Like the Trojan horse?
We're from Troy.
Yep.
So yeah,
Okay.
so the Trojan, I love Greek history, so I was always
Yep.
infatuated with the Trojan horse and the Trojan warriors and everything, and
Yeah.
just our hometown. So
Yeah. Kind of
it
just
all
tied
tied
in.
together.
Yeah.
Is that the mascot for Troy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
it's actually for Troy High, it's the Flying Horses,
Right.
but
Okay.
just about everything else, like the Pop Warner football team, is the Trojan Warriors. So
Okay.
Yep.
I didn't
everything
know
is for
that.
this- Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. And for our listeners that are not in the capital region, Troy, New York, just
Yeah,
outside of
sorry, Troy, New
Albany.
York. Yes.
No,
Yeah.
that's okay. Yeah. So I guess let's get into the part of what made you guys. What were you doing before, and then tell us about that whole journey.
I actually was doing residential painting with another company for the
Okay.
past 5-6 years.
Yep.
So I got a lot of experience. She's actually a full-time nurse.
I'm still working. So.
Nice.
So yeah, but
That's the way to do it, though, right? Like
Yeah.
at least so you have a solid income coming in case you have any lulls with the new business stuff. And
Right.
it's not easy starting up a new business. So
Yeah.
it's difficult, especially when everything's new. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
everything is new.
So tell us about what made you want to make that leap.
I've always thought about owning my own business. I mean, as far as her too, as far as I can think back, I mean, I remember being like 8 or 9, and I convinced my cousin that we should sell his toys on our front porch. And we started a company called Pocket Change. And
Nice.
and I was probably 9, and yeah, I sold all of his toys and made money. So
Even better. You don't have to
Did
pay
you
for
give him a
inventory.
cut?
yeah. And I actually had a creepy crawler machine, so I used to make little creepy crawlers. I don't know if you remember those, and sell those. So yeah, I
Creepy
always
crawlers.
always had a little entrepreneurial side to me. So
Yeah.
her too, she
You
always
just
wanted
always-
to,
Yeah.
and it just came together. Felt like it was the right time, and
because we actually started up December 2023, and it was just
Okay.
more of like he's always talked about it, and I kind of just pushed him like, there's never going to be a perfect time. He's
Mm-hmm.
been talking about it so much more, just do it, and we always just wanted to give something to our kids that we didn't have. So, we started it. I made him sit down, really do it, and we kind of we did everything by ourselves, how to figure it all out, how to create the LLC. I mean, literally from step one. And it just really at that time back in December of 2023, it was just, doing side jobs here and there, but wanted to have a name tied to it. And then just kept with the side jobs for a little bit. And then till just recently, in October this past year, and a couple different things had happened, and we were like, and I said to him, you know what, like this should give you the kick in the ass to just let's do it, like
Full
full
speed.
force, like let's do it. It's now or never, and it's never going to get easier, so might as well just do it. And here we are. I mean, our first big job, and for him is I put us out there and just started researching and got us out there, and we just finished with doing Chick-fil-A tile job for Chick-fil-A. So
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Uh, so that's interesting. So now, did you do that as a subcontractor?
Basically, yep.
And did you do it for HCI?
No.
Uh,
Or was it?
Honest
Yeah.
Fixers.
What is that?
Honest Fixers.
Oh no, okay. I was just thinking, like, because I know I have some friends that own a company, and they do a lot of like fast foods, and I wasn't sure if Chick-fil-A was one of them. So I was wondering if you were working for those guys. I was like, man, what a small world it is.
Yeah. No,
Uh,
I guess all the different Chick-fil-A's, like after talking to the owner, which we weren't even supposed to meet, he ended up stopping by, so it was nice to meet him. But after talking to him, I guess all the Chick-fil-A's deal with different companies, and some don't
Oh.
even subcontract out. It's kind of
Interesting,
weird.
okay.
So yeah, it was interesting. Yeah.
So first
Yeah.
big job, how'd it go?
Awesome.
It was, yeah.
We had to wait till it closed, obviously, and
But, yeah.
they didn't close till 11 o'clock. Well,
Yeah.
10, and we had to start at 11.
Yep.
So we
Yeah.
worked till
Like
like
7.
7 in the morning,
Yeah.
and then
Got
went
a couple
home.
hours sleep,
I
not
literally
even.
slept probably 45 minutes,
Yeah.
and I got back up, and
We were like, we gotta just
got
do it.
dressed, and we went out there,
Yep.
finished it.
Yeah.
and
Whatever it takes, right?
So Kayla, you're pretty hands-on in the field as well then.
I love learning. I'm a
Awesome.
quick learner, but I don't mind getting dirty.
She's right there with
Yeah, I'm like, teach me. Like if I'm gonna do this with you, like I'm the type of person, like I am hands-on, but I want to know what I'm talking about. If I'm reaching out and I'm doing all the back end, I don't want to do just the back end. If I'm gonna take calls and stuff, I want to know what I'm talking about. Why are we doing this? Like I want to know ins and outs. So I was like, you're taking me with you. I want to know, like I'm doing it with you. So yeah.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
she
highly
was right
commend
there
that.
with me.
Yeah,
Well,
definitely make those conversations on the phone easier, though.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Derek? I'm sorry.
No, I just think that's awesome, and for you guys, I remember, those days as well, working overnights and all of that. And, you kind of figure it out in the beginning, and then you look back years later and you really appreciate those times. So,
Yeah.
enjoy them while you can.
Yep.
I just want you guys to know I fall apart after about 11 p.m. So I have the utmost respect for anyone doing overnights, man. I'll tell you, I'm
was
like
hard.
an 8:30 bedtime guy these days. So it's like anything after 9 o'clock, I'm like, oh my God, what is happening right now?
Well, yeah.
It's not sustainable, Mike. I
It's
totally
not.
agree. It's not. Yeah.
No,
I remember,
that was the first time I ever had to do like an overtime job, and I give it to people. that
And
can do it.
when I first graduated nursing school about 13
Yeah,
years
she
ago
did.
now, I
Yeah.
started off with overnights. We only had one
Yeah.
kid then, but it wasn't for me. I mean, I just I did it for a little while until, I left, but it was rough. I mean, working overnight and then coming home 6, 7 in the morning to get the other one ready for school, bringing her to school, coming home and then sleeping. Like my schedule was just so off, and I couldn't get used to it. It just was not for me, but yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, we'd go days sometimes without even talking to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
I'd get out of work, and then
And then
I'd
he's
be going to
going,
sleep,
yeah.
he's getting up, and
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
tough.
It
But
is
you gotta
tough.
do what you gotta do.
it's all been worth it though so far.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you guys doing? So Kayla, you had mentioned that you had done
Yep.
some outreach. What does it look like for you guys right now when you're doing outreach? Are you knocking on doors? Are you hanging door hangers, putting out a lot? Like, what does it look like for you to try to drum up business?
So right now, I did just a lot of research as far as like where to kind of start, what is there out there in New York for small businesses, which led me to the SBA website. And then I kind of went from there and seeing that there was just a lot of different like contractor websites in New York that was free to put our name on. But you had to have a DMB number, the Dun and Braun number.
Yeah.
And so I did all that, did research into that, got our number, and listed us on there. And which I didn't expect anybody to reach out. So when Honest Fixers really did reach out to us, I said to him, there was like a couple days where we didn't like
We
respond. I
thought
thought
that
it
was a
was
scam.
fake. I thought it was a scam. It
Yeah.
just didn't make sense. I'm like, he didn't say Chick-fil-A at first. He gave just the address. And
And
I
we
pulled
Googled
it
it, and
up
we're
and
like, this has to be a
I'm
scam.
like,
There's no way.
Chick-fil-A? I'm like, there's no way. And then like even talking to the guy and everything, like all the way up till like we even were driving out there, like for the estimates, staring at each other, and I'm like, we're gonna walk in here and they're gonna be like, what are you guys doing here? I'm like, this is fake. I'm like, there's no way. But I don't know. I
It
just
was
feel
real.
yeah, it was real. I mean, I just feel like everything happens for a reason.
Hmm.
But just right now, to get back to your question, it's just like researching like where do we start? How do we get the leads coming
A
in?
lot of
Hmm.
Google and YouTube
Yeah.
has been big help for us.
Yeah, because for us it's hard because like I said, we don't have those people to reach out to, whether it's friends or family, that's either A, been in our shoes or B, willing to help us. So it's really learning everything on our own, and I've always had that knack of being a quick learner, and I love to research. So just kind of seeing what we need to do and different avenues that we need to take.
Hmm.
I think once our website is really locked down, I told him, I will be able to really push this out as far as, getting us on, social media, getting the leads in, and then just coming up with like different ideas of reaching out to different, we know a couple friends who do like roofing siding businesses, reaching out to them like, hey, like when you close on this deal, like just kind of bringing in a lot of different people to the mix too, and just kind of
Yeah.
see where we can go with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think and I'm sure Derek will echo this, but it's really just, especially in the home services industries right now, right? It's just letting people know that what you're doing. And as
Right.
soon as people hear it, they're like, oh my God, can you do this? Can you do
Right.
this?
Yeah,
Can you do
Yeah.
this?
and
Right.
that's what
That's
it
yeah.
always has turned into me. From jobs, I'd start painting, and I'd say, hey, I know how to do trim work. Hey, I know how to do this. And they go, hey, well, do you know how to do this? And I go, yes, I do. So it's
Yeah.
always grown into more than it should have, especially once I get done with the work. People have
Appreciated it.
always appreciated and gave glowing reviews for me.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like that's a big thing I mean, obviously you could advertise online and stuff, but when people hear it from another person saying, call this guy, and they show them what has been done,
Hmm.
it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
word of mouth.
Now I saw you guys have a Google business profile.
Yep.
Um, and are you planning on leveraging that at all, or is that a part of your go to market strategy?
Yes, yes. I think that that's going to be huge. Tying that into so we have Jobber going for us right now for like the back
Yeah.
end of things, which has made life a lot easier.
Yep.
But I think really tying the Google business into just all aspects of it, because then it'll be easier. I feel like people go there when you want something done, you're Googling it constantly. So I
Yeah.
feel like they're gonna go there, type in, looking for a
Like painters near
painter,
me or something.
right? And
Yep.
so I feel like that's gonna be pretty big for us. It's trying to figure out how to get like the reviews to come in so that when people go there, they see
Yeah.
that like that's the main point when they go there. So just kind of trying to figure it all out from the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. Reviews are huge. And to your point, I was actually just writing an article about Google and winning the Google game. And one of the stats that came up was that 89% of the population uses Google for their searches, and roughly 90% of those people that use Google start any buying process they have, they start with a Google search,
Right.
right?
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's just absolutely huge as far as being able to be found on Google and having and being set up and having those testimonials, right? And having
Right.
people the ability to see that you're awesome. And
Yeah.
you know, I know. What about you, Derek? Like, I know that I literally have had people say to me like, "Hey, we found you and you had the most Google reviews." I know, Derek. How does that look for you with your business?
It's, it's funny, but it's become more and more prevalent. We were actually on it was a new startup last week in a walkthrough, and the client actually said to our operations manager, "Oh, you're Nicole. We saw great reviews about the work that you did." And,
Mm-hmm.
of course, obviously she was floored because, they hear from me, "Hey, this is important. This is why it's important." But it was a real life example of, okay, somebody's actually seeing this, using that to base their decision. And, it makes that sales process, I guess it establishes initial trust. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
there's less of a fear of making a decision.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Less guessing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know we're definitely advising all of our clients in the current environment that we're in to do what we're calling a website up approach. And so that it's really of making sure that you have a website that's set up, that's clean, doesn't have to have a ton of stuff on it, but that it's
Right.
easy to use. And then moving up from there, making sure that your Google profile is set up, and then moving up from there, making sure your social media is set up, and then moving up from there, making sure email, and then getting into all the crazy strategies that then
Mhm.
bring everything back down towards your
That's the
website,
plan.
because eventually everyone ends up on your website almost just to
Yeah.
see who you are and what you're about. So
Right. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's what I said to him is I feel like Google is so much more important than the social media right now at that, aspect.
Yeah,
yeah, I
everybody
agree.
uses Google, not everybody uses social media, so it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
reaches a broader audience,
Yep.
especially as far as older people. Not too many older people are on social
On
media
social
like
media.
that. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So what? Obviously, well, I shouldn't say obviously. It's my belief, but uh, was it scary for you guys to launch this and go out on your own? Like,
It's
what was that
it's still
emotionally?
it's still scary.
well, like I said, we're all self-taught, and everything we have done so far has been new to us.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we constant Googling, constant YouTube videos, everything we do, we
Yeah.
just learning from the ground up. And yes, it is scary, but very rewarding.
Yeah,
And
and exciting too, though,
yeah,
right? Like,
exciting. Yeah,
It's
it's like
it is. It really
it's
is. Yeah.
completely different from working for somebody else because like you know that you're building something. You're not building something for somebody else. You know?
yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Changes the game for you, right?
A
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
It
So
definitely.
Nick, I got a quick question for you. How did you learn how to paint?
Um. Well, I was always artistic, and I always had to paint my own houses, but I was never really that good. And then at my last job, that was the main thing that we did was residential painting. So
Uh,
just about 8 hours a day, I was cutting, rolling with an 18-inch roller, 9-inch roller, whiz rollers,
Yeah.
everything. And yeah, I just learned how to do all that. I worked with my brother for a while. He owns his own painting company. And I also worked for a family friend, Collar City Painting, Ed McAvoy. I've actually heard him mentioned on your podcast before.
Yeah. I was surprised.
And
I was like,
he actually has been showing me a lot too, as far as the business side of things and just things that he's gone through that helped him learn of what to do in certain situations of how to how to paint this, how to paint that, what to do, what not to do.
yeah.
So, but yeah, I've been painting ever since I was a little kid, honestly.
That's awesome. So you've taken bits and pieces from everything along the way and
Yeah,
applied them.
I totally believe in everything is a learning experience, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
And so every job that I've always had, I've always taken something from it, always.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually how I met Derek, was at one of my old jobs.
Yeah. I was
So
gonna say, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah,
We Nick and I go way back. Yeah.
yeah. I was actually the driver for the janitorial supply company that he used to buy stuff from. So that's how I met him. And then he linked me up with you, you know,
Yeah.
with your awesome
Nice.
company, who's
Yeah.
our
But our
logo.
I know it's just a small world how it all just trickles back, you know.
Yeah. Listen, the
Absolutely.
power of networking, I don't know if there's
Yeah.
anything more important.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
one thing I learned is, never burn bridges with anybody and always try to not be their friend, but always, you know, be able to talk to people and have a good relationship with people
Mhm.
because you can always use people in any situation, as far as advice or help or anything. So I'm a firm believer in, don't burn any bridges, keep as many contacts as you can, network with everybody, and just stay friendly and be cool with everybody, and it
Yeah.
should work out.
I think that's important. We've talked about that a lot, Mike, in prior episodes, and I know you've had experience with it as well. Working with and not necessarily against competitors to help each other out.
Yep.
Know, there's plenty of work out there. So
Plenty. Plenty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of my
Especially
best
now
friends own companies that I compete with. So
especially now, it feels like we're kind of a dying breed, almost kind of. It seems like we're getting fewer and far between, and there's more work that needs to be done. So there's more houses and a bigger population now, and less people to do the work.
Right.
I think we keep quoting this stat, but it just came across my my X feed a couple days ago too. Like 60% of the trades are retiring in the next. They're aging out of the workforce in the next 5 to 10 years. Like,
right.
I mean,
and more than ever, people don't know how to do that work. So like,
I mean, if you go to stores to buy supplies and you see all the workers in there, it's either older men, and that's just about it. I don't see anybody our age at all. It's very few and far between.
Yeah.
Well, and then you compound that with the fact that AI is growing in a fashion that a lot of the white collar jobs are going to be downsized, if not eliminated, because of AI software that's coming out. That's a whole nother thing. There's going to be all these people that are going to be in the workforce that don't they don't have any of these skills. Right. But I say that because the trades, I do truly believe that the trades are going to be one of the last things that really get infiltrated, we'll say, by AI, as much as like say the white collar jobs are the blue collar stuff is just going to be there for a lot longer. And although robots are coming, right? Dave?
They're coming.
I was just about to say I don't see computers painting walls anytime soon. So
hopefully, right?
Yeah, hopefully.
Not yet. Not yet. Maybe cleaning floors though, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're already doing that.
Yeah, I see.
They're already doing that. Yeah. So it's it's interesting to see what's coming down the pike. So what as you guys have been getting into this and launching your business, what do you think the biggest challenge that you faced so far has been?
Honestly, just about everything. Like I said, everything's new to us. So from starting the LLC, we had to Google everything, watch videos on how to even start the LLC. And
did you do that, or did you get a lawyer, or do legal Zoom, or how did you do your LLC?
No, I did it.
You did that stuff, huh?
A lawyer right here. Yeah, she's
well done.
Brilliant with stuff like this, like logistics and anything like that. She's unbelievable.
Because for me, if I can learn it and I know how to do it and I can figure it out, why pay somebody and dish out all that money when we can do it? But if I truly don't know what I'm doing, I'm not going to sit here and say I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, we're not scared to ask for help or anything, but
But I said, let me just look into it. Let me see what it really involves. Like, what do we need to do? I think too, like, do you remember when we first started and to do it, we had to do the newspapers?
Yep.
Like, even from that, that was scary and a huge thing. Like, they were like, this was wrong. And like, it had to be worded this way and do this. And I was just like, even right there. And I was like, oh my God, and we didn't even start yet. Like, this is crazy. But I mean, you got to figure it out, and it's been teamwork. Like, I feel like another thing too is like, we don't run into many couples that are in the business or in the trades together. But there's got to be that open communication. There's got to be a good communication there and just teamwork. You got to remember, at the end of the day, like you're on the same team,
like the yin and the yang, what I'm not good at, she is. What she's not good at, I am. So we just apply both of our skills together to be to do our best, honestly.
How do you delineate that? Is it like, Nick, you go to do something, you're like, oh, I'm really bad at this, like, Kayla, can you help me? Or is it just kind of like you already know, like, hey, I'm gonna do this and you're gonna do this? Like, do you have that kind of structured out already, or is it just kind of you just see what comes up and then make a decision?
Um, it's not really structured out yet,
Right.
but we know each other's strengths.
Yeah.
So if it's something comes up, she goes, I'll take care of this.
Right.
You go do that. So like for instance at Chick-fil-A, as I was working, she'd stop, do the any paperwork that needs to be done, the invoicing. She would talk to the business owner as I was working. So, everything got done all at once basically.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's huge help having her, honestly. She's awesome.
It's just like I said, it's just communication. I mean, there's things that are going to come up that we don't know, what he can
Mhm.
do or what I can do, and it's just having that communication. Like, do you feel comfortable doing this? Do you want me to take care of it? Like, you guys just gotta talk.
Yeah, we have very, very open communication about everything. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's no guessing at any time.
Yeah.
So maybe some other wisdom too that you could pass on to any of the listeners that are considering starting a business and wondering where to begin and like like you said, like doing the LLC paperwork yourself, that probably saved you a couple grand, right? Like I know what lawyers charge. They
Yeah.
charge anywhere from $1,000, $1,500 or more dollars to do that stuff. LegalZoom, you're in that $500 to $1,000 range, but then you still got to do a bunch of legwork yourself.
Right.
But I also know, obviously, because we're doing a little bit of work for you on a logo, right? So I know
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you also tried to use other services for the logo stuff, right? So maybe can you share
Yeah.
your experience as far as trying to, use some of the other services out there? And you don't have to say them by name, but
Yes.
So
just
Right.
kind of tell them
So
about that
yeah.
experience.
first we did, was it Fiverr first or
It was like a couple different like
we
websites,
used
but
Fiverr and man, what's the name of the other one?
Upwork.
Upwork. So first we did Fiverr, and that was a really tough time because a lot of people are from across the globe. So
Right.
by the time they got our message and sent the message back, either they were sleeping or we were sleeping. So
Yeah.
some days they wouldn't even message us back,
Mhm.
and it went on for probably like a month
It
with
was a
them, and
while.
we got absolutely nowhere.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we're like, let's try Upwork because we didn't really have the funds to, to try to get
Well, I think like one of the main things though was I think that we were just under like the misconception that if not to reach out to anybody in the area because that we weren't going to be able to afford it.
yeah, we thought it was gonna be
And I didn't know.
way out of our price range.
Yeah, and I don't even know like where we got that from, but I feel like that was the misconception, and I feel like that's why we reached out to like people on the internet.
Yeah.
And then but it ended up not working out, and it was just that was very, very stressful.
Yes, very.
Knowing that we needed a logo, we need it now. We knew kind of what we wanted, but the other thing, like working with people from not around here, they weren't understanding like how to tie in that
Mhm.
residential painting aspect to the logo. So go ahead, you can keep going. So
But yeah, Rosetta has been awesome, by the way.
yeah,
Just
She
wanted
is
to-
awesome. Yeah, she's a
I
great
love
designer.
her.
yeah,
She's
yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. I love her
Yeah.
work
Well,
so
thank
far.
you.
yeah,
Good.
yeah.
And I know, and you're doing your website yourself, right?
Yep, yep.
And are you doing Wix or Squarespace, or what are you building your website on?
With Wix.
Wix. Yeah.
Yep, yeah,
I think that's a great place to start for people when they're starting their own business. Like you can do it yourself, doesn't have to be crazy. Like it's free
yeah,
in some
yeah.
cases, you can do the
Right.
free option or you can upgrade. But how has that been for you?
Good so far.
I think, yeah, I definitely think because on on the side, like we both love to, we've gotten into like crypto and like the Web3 kind of thing too.
Yeah.
And that's really, I feel like has helped him a lot too, because he's very handy with stuff like that and he's very creative.
Hmm.
Doesn't give himself credit for it, but he is very creative. So he's done like his own website before for a crypto coin. So I told him, I'm like, if you can do that, like there's nothing different to it. Like don't
Yeah.
like so I think he's got this. Like, we're good. He'll be all right.
So you're building the website, Nick?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Anytime.
What other kinds of setup things are you doing? I'm just thinking about people listening of like what they should be considering about if they're thinking about launching their own business. What other things? So you got the formation of the company, logo, which I mean, if I think a logo is important in the beginning, again, not to spend thousands of dollars on one, right? But to have something that you can put on letterhead or put on an invoice, or, just to
Yeah.
kind of help give your, a little bit
More
more of a
professional.
professional,
Yeah.
appearance,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
What other kinds of things are you guys doing as far as the setup goes, getting launched and getting out there?
I feel like the logo is going to really be the main thing, and I think that's why it's been so stressful and stressing me out, because I know once we have the logo, like how much more I can really
Because
do.
then that ties into the website, color schemes, everything like that. And like you
Right.
said,
Yeah.
the letterhead and emails. It
I
just
mean,
ties into
literally
everything.
everything. Like we have like generalized, like a general business card right now. But I
Hmm.
said to him, like, I don't wanna, like, when we go places and we're talking, I'm like, I don't wanna even hand it out yet. Like wait till the real logo's done. Like, I just want, once we have that, like, I know it, goes into the website, which then my website can go onto my Google, and then I can really push out Google, and I can push out Yelp, and here and there, and like it just really goes, the logo is huge. I think that's number one for people to know, just because it ties into so much. And then
Hmm.
from there, I mean, it's really generating those leads and finding the leads and getting yourself set up with the different websites and reaching out to the community, and like we reached out to Derek, like not being afraid to talk to, like, hey, like, let's sit down for a minute, like, who do we know that we can talk to, like, who knows other people, or like who can help us or give us just any advice.
Yep.
And I said to him, like, reach out, to people that and say, hey, like, you just can't be scared to ask for help.
Yeah. I
Yeah, I
think
got
that, go ahead,
it's a
D.
yeah, I got a couple things on that, and Kayla, and Nick. I think you had mentioned to me when we met a while back about the logo, but I think the important thing that a lot of people get hung up on is that you realize that that was something that you had to find a solution to, but you didn't let it stop you. So you kept moving,
Right.
and you found and landed a first big job. I think some people, when they're first starting out or venturing into a business, they get stuck on a problem, and it's almost paralysis by analysis.
Analysis.
So
Right.
you did the right thing, and you kept on moving, and you're much further along, and I really commend you on that, because a lot of people get stuck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you a lot. And then, like we said, everything was new, so it's extra hard, not
Right.
starting from scratch. So
Yeah.
it's been a lot of work just to do the simple things.
Yeah.
Well, you got on all those new things. I heard this on another podcast called Ranchonomics, and they talk about farming and
Yep.
cattle markets and things. And they were talking about, you got to pay your tuition. Like if you go into like a new trade, or whether it's, you get, like, for me, like I'm a first generation farmer, right? And then I'm learning
Right.
a lot of lessons. So I think about
Yep.
all the time, like every time I make a mistake or I spend time and money on something that ended up being a waste, I'm just like,
You're
oh
paying the
well,
dues.
I was paying my tuition. That's it, right?
Pay
Just
Paying
my
the
paying my
dues.
dues.
tuition.
Right. Right.
Um, and I do want to focus in on something you said too, about just letting people know what you're doing. And I know that we kind of said it, but I just think it's something that really to hammer on for anyone listening and for you guys. Cause I mean, Derek and I have had some larger area builders on the podcast, right? In the capital region. And
Mhm.
every single one of those folks says the same thing. And it's that they're looking for people to do the work, whether it's employees or contractors. So it's really like, I can't speak to all over the country for some of our other listeners, but I know here in the capital region, there's so much work out there. People just need to know who you are, and like I
Right.
hope we're able to connect you to with a couple more people that have come on the show that we know are looking for subcontractors and things like that, because everybody's looking for help.
Right.
And it's just such a simple formula to not be scared, right? Like what
Right.
Kayla was saying, and just reach out to people and tell them what you're doing and see
Yeah.
where those chips land. But
You're
Yeah.
gonna hear no. You're gonna hear it a
That's what,
lot.
Oh
right.
yeah,
That's
we've
what I
heard a
said.
lot.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yep.
scared to know.
I know we want to talk about kind of what the future looks like for you guys and some of your plans and how you're approaching that. But before, I want to just real quick touch on the transition that you had. So if I heard you correctly, and because this is always something that interests me, right, is how you go from working for someone to being self-employed and what that transition in between looks like. So like Devin Kamengay that came on just a couple episodes ago, and he came on earlier in the show, like he had told us about, hey, I had side jobs. I was a school administrator I was doing side jobs, and then I landed one big job that was going to keep me working for like 6 months. And he's like, and so I just used that to be my transition. And then while I was working that job, I just started lining up other things for when that job was over. It sounded to me like you were saying that. So you had your main job, Nick, and then you started doing some side hustles on the side, and then use that, or was that? Is that what was that transition like for you?
Exactly. I'm still actually working full time, so it's a whole lot of work on the weekends and after work. So
Yeah.
Still working full time?
yes.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So
Good
it's
for you,
and
man.
I'm just waiting for, like you said, something to be that hump to where I don't need that no more, and I
Right.
know I could go full speed with this. I mean, we already are, but
Mhm.
like I said, we can't just survive off just her income as of right yet.
Yeah.
Right.
So once we really, really get going, it's all out.
So you don't sleep, no days off,
No.
just
No,
mainlining
no.
caffeine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Storage
Keep it-
coffee
keep
is
it coming.
is number one. Storage coffee, yes.
No, he stores. I can't. I need some type of espresso to keep me going.
Yeah.
Yeah, Storage my
It's
buddy.
so funny. Listen, I'm a
Ultimate
big
coffee.
Stewart's guy. Absolutely, I'm a big Stewart's guy.
Yes,
I
Storage my
probably
homie.
I spend way too much money at Stewart's.
With tuition payments.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know what's
Oh,
funny
God.
too is I don't know about you guys. I mean, I literally like on any given day, I'll stop at 3 or 4 different Stewards throughout the
Oh, yeah.
day, and I know everybody. So I'm like
Yep.
Norm from Cheers walking into each one of those Stewards. You know, they're like, oh,
Yeah, you might have a steward's problem, Mike.
I do. I
Yeah,
definitely
yeah,
do.
A Stewart's
I definitely
addiction.
do. Oh my God. Between the coffee, the apple fritters, the egg witches, like, I don't know, man.
The milkshakes,
I'll tell you what I don't do is I don't add up at the end of the year how much money I spent at Stewart's
No.
because I just don't
I
want
don't
to
even
know what
want to
that
know.
number is. No,
Yeah,
I don't want to know what
I
that
don't
number
want
is.
to know.
So.
Yeah.
Whole lot
Oh
of
man.
coffee.
So I'm curious. So you're working full time. So I mean I have to assume that your current boss knows that you're doing what you're doing.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
And obviously must be okay with it, right?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
Yes, he's actually been a good
Great,
mentor to me.
yes.
I told him when I was starting basically what my plan was, and he said that's
Right.
completely fine. And he
Yeah.
was like, I'll help you as much as I can. I'll teach you whatever I can about, the billing aspect, the customer aspect, painting in general,
Yeah.
like I said earlier, of what to do, what not to do. If
Yeah.
you make
Mhm.
problems, this is how you fix it, how to talk to the customers. I mean, I've always been a very personable person. I
Yeah,
mean,
It's come
I
natural.
learned a lot from being a delivery driver, having to, call people, seek them out for their signatures, and just meeting all new people just about every day. I
Yeah.
used to be very, very shy and have a lot of anxiety talking to new people, but
Yeah.
that I had no choice but to break out of that. So that was a big thing for me, was definitely that job. And like I said, I take a learning experience from everything I've ever done.
Yeah.
So that's the big thing that I learned from that job was, just how to talk to people, not to be nervous. And, like you guys said, you can't be afraid of the word no. I hear it a lot,
Yeah.
but you can't let it stop you.
Well, that's amazing that your current employer is like that, and definitely big props to that person for
Yeah, if you don't mind me shouting him out, Eddie McAvoy at Color
please
City
do.
Painting. I
Yeah.
mean, he's been phenomenal so far.
That's
We gotta-
awesome.
We got to get him on the show. You got to.
I actually was gonna speak to him
Yeah.
tomorrow about if he was interested.
I mean,
Nice.
he's
I
been,
asked him today if he ever heard of it. He goes, "Oh yeah, my buddy was on there." I was like, "Yeah, I was just listening to a random one," and I was like, "They shouted you out on it." I was like,
It's like, oh my God, I was like, everything happens for a reason. I'm like, this
That's
is so
it.
crazy.
"Yeah."
Yeah.
Well,
I forget his
it's a
first
small
name. There's
world around
something
here.
Barry.
Brian.
Brian
Brian.
Barry was his name.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. With who's
Color-
also CCP because he's
Color
color
code painting.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, Brian's a great guy.
yeah.
Yeah, his episode was wow.
Yeah, he's got a
Yeah.
crazy
Yeah.
story.
Yeah,
Story,
wild
man.
story.
Holy moly. I still
Yeah.
think about that. I'm like, wow.
Well, even like he said, he took that as a learning experience. Every
Right.
day
Yeah.
he just went. He almost became a lawyer. He was saying basically, I mean, he was writing affidavits and everything.
Yeah.
I bet, man.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Well, that's
Yeah.
how you make something out of nothing.
Yep.
'Cause a lot of people would have just laid down and gave up, especially if you knew,
Yeah, that coming
if
over
you
that
knew it
kind
wasn't
of
you,
Right. If you can overcome something like that, I mean,
do anything.
yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, I encourage anyone to go back and listen to that episode. That story is
That's
crazy.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
I still couldn't believe that we were sitting there and recording and we're doing this, and he just said it like
I
it
know
was
you-
nothing. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm like, I have to ask. I don't know if
I
it's
know,
okay for
right?
me, but I have to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was absolutely crazy. So
Yeah.
Even in podcasting, we get out of our comfort zone, Mike, you know?
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I was just trying to look up the episode. I forget what number it is. I'll have to look back. But
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys heard that, but our theme song was blasting on my computer accidentally. You might have to edit that out, Mike.
oh, yeah, I didn't hear it.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
good.
didn't hear it.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Zoom is really good. I will say that Zoom is really good about editing out background noise. I mean, my son's been screaming and hollering in the background, and I was just
Yeah,
like,
you can't hear
I
it.
don't think it came through at all. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no.
Before we move on, one last thing, just to expand on something that you said about learning how to talk to people, right? About
Right.
being scared to do it. That is something that so many people have, that fear of talking to strangers, and it's like, you're it's drilled into you as a little kid, right? Don't say no to strangers, be afraid of strangers. And then we become adults and we still got that stuff packed in there that we can't talk to strangers. And I know that your boss encouraged you and like was telling you that you have to do it, but was there, like, how did you overcome it? Like, how did you overcome that fear? Was it just gut up and shut up kind of thing?
Honestly, my method is I count to 3 and just do it. That's because if you just do it in 3 seconds, you don't have time to think about it, and you don't really have time to get nervous. So you just do it.
Yeah.
You ever get some awkward situations because of it? Like where you blurt something out? Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Absolutely.
All the time.
Yeah. That's great.
You just learn from it and learn what to do and what not to do.
That's it. Keep learning, keep earning.
I'm curious. I got one more quick question too. So where are you guys operating? Are you operating out of your house? Are you operating out of a storage unit? How are you guys
out of our
that?
house?
So out of the house.
My garage.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
a lot of big companies started.
A
lot of big companies started in a garage.
Yeah, we just bought our own house first time ever about, what was it, 3 years ago?
December 2021.
Oh yeah, wow.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
We ended up closing, and I think it was 3 days before Christmas with 2 kids. Yeah, that was fun.
Did you do Christmas at the new house?
Oh yeah. We slept on the floor. I said, listen,
we're not doing anything until we get the Christmas tree up for the kids. That's the first thing we did.
Yep. I mean, we didn't even have bed. Like, we put the mattresses on the floor. I was like, I don't care. Christmas tree's got to go up. Santa's coming. Like, that's it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You put a bow on the house?
No.
That's one thing that kind of upsets us is, well, we were renting a house and the owner had sold it. So we had to basically
it was a quick
get out almost as fast as we can. And we were like, do we rent an apartment for $1,500-$1,600 a month? Or do we just spend all of our money on a house? Right. And we both grew up pretty poor in South Troy, and we, very, very small apartments. My bedroom was so small that I could touch each side of the walls. Yeah. Literally all 4 walls I'd be able to touch. Yeah. And I only had room for a bed and a tiny, tiny dresser. So I knew as a kid, I was like, once I'm able to buy a house, that's what we're doing. And my kids will grow up. My kids will grow up in a house, and they will not grow up the way we did.
Yeah, and I think that's always been both of our thing. Like, even when we first met, is that we just both knew growing up there was people that you can either get comfortable like that the way that you grew up, and people continue that, or you can break that generational curse and I knew, and he knew that that's not what we wanted as parents, or for ourselves. And I, like, especially owning a house, for me, on my side, I'm the first person in my family to own a house or even graduate college. So, like, that was huge. And then after having kids, and we had kids young too, but like, you just want to be able to give to them and show them, that it can be done, and to be that good role model for them. So I don't know. We just always just put one foot in front of the other, and
we have a 15-year-old daughter, believe it or not,
right,
and a 10-year-old son.
Yeah. So I mean, we met when we were 18. We've been together almost 18 years now. So
good for you guys. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I don't know. You gotta figure it out. But we just always knew that we wanted to give our kids more than what we had. So
Well, you're doing a
That's
great
awesome.
job.
Yeah.
So keep
Well,
up
thank
the good
you.
work.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
We don't hear
Yeah.
too many good things, so
Yeah.
it's good to hear it from somebody.
So let's talk about the future then, right?
Mhm.
So what I know most people, and myself included, whenever I get a new business idea and sit down and start thinking about it, I think about all the trillions of dollars I'm going to make, how successful I'm going
Right.
to be, and what the future is going to look like. So,
What
uh,
Lamborghini you're gonna get?
yeah. Well, and it changes, but so I'm just curious, like what as you guys are launching and getting this business out there, what do you envision for yourselves for the future? What does that look like for you guys?
Well, first and foremost, just perfecting the craft, and then building a customer base, a solid customer base, and then I definitely want to onboard a small team at first, get more jobs and just slowly build,
Yeah.
and eventually just broaden the services. Like I said earlier, that's why I went with Trojan Home Services as the idea of in the future to bring more and even things that I don't know, because I'm a firm believer into, I want to be the dumbest person in the room, and I want to surround myself with people that are smarter than me and
You
have
take from
very
that.
good
Yeah.
work ethic. And eventually, I'd like I said, build a small team, but then move into a lot of different things. I would like to, eventually have a cleaning crew, because that ties into the painting aspect of once you get done painting, you want a cleaning crew,
Yep.
and then I want eventually just a lot of things, so I could be almost not a one-stop shop, but like how we said earlier, I go into paint and I go, hey, we could do this, we could do that, we could do this, or I know
Yeah,
this person that could do this. So then it just get bigger, not don't force anything, just take it as it comes and just work as hard as we can.
Yeah. Just
that's
building
awesome.
the building those lasting
Yeah,
relationships
building
too
a
with the
good rapport,
clients,
because
I mean,
painting is a service, so I'm more so selling myself than just the painting, so
Hmm.
yeah.
that's a big thing to me, is having a very good customer report and being able to talk to the people and have that word of mouth, to spread our name.
Yeah.
That's a big thing to me.
Just
That's
just
awesome.
just being able to build like a successful, stable company to be able to leave our kids with
Yeah,
something.
that's another big thing, is like I said, the way we grew up, we had no role models, no father figures, nothing. So it's a big thing to
Yeah.
us to have our kids look up to us, and they love that we're doing this.
Yeah.
They love I told my daughter, I was like, you're gonna be, because she's 15, so she's all over
Social
social media.
media.
So I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, you're gonna be the social media uh girl, right? And she like just looked at me and she had the biggest cheese smile,
Yeah.
and she was like, are you serious?
Yeah.
I was like, of course I am. And she was like, well, yeah.
And like even that too, like when we did the Chick-fil-A job, like having her be older, like her helping us to watch her brother overnight
Mhm.
and while we were there all night, and just getting those texts in the middle of the night from her who's not usually like that.
Yeah,
And
she's not the lovey-dovey type, so
yeah, so to get those text messages and you look at him and we looked at each other and we're like, all right, we're doing something right. Like,
yes, they're
they
both
were excited.
really
So
proud of us.
yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
That's awesome. I got to ask too. You said you're a creative painter, and then I keep seeing this. What is that? A Dallas Cowboy on your
I
wall
was
behind you?
Oh
Oh no,
no.
don't say
Oh
that.
God.
Don't say that.
gonna ask the same question.
Don't say that. That's Jamar Chase, the best wide receiver in the world, right there.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
No,
Uh,
I'm a big Bengals fan. That's
I was gonna say this whole
yeah.
downstairs
You
room
can't see
is
it. It's the
Cincinnati Bengals.
it's the Bengal cave.
oh, okay. Now I can see the orange on the
Yeah,
helmet. Now it makes
yeah.
sense. All
See
right.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, on the chair. Did you paint that painting?
No, actually,
No.
that was a picture I got online, and I turned it into a canvas. This
Okay.
guy, I forget his name, but he does all stuff like that. He's
Mhm.
amazing. He does more than just football too. He all different types of people, but he works
Yeah.
in he'll put metal into the pictures and everything. He's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. So, I know we're getting close to time here. I don't want to keep you guys on here all day. Do you mind forgetting anything we wanted to ask these guys?
What is if you had to tell the audience,
Ah.
give the audience one piece of advice about going through the startup process, and I know you guys are still in it right now, what would that advice be?
Persistence.
Yeah.
Um,
Being adaptable.
being able to adapt to anything, because when you first start, everything is new, so you really don't know what's coming. So it's a big thing to, be persistent and keep going, even like you said, when you hear the word no, you can't stop. You're gonna hear no probably 80% of the time. So if you stop at the first no, you'll be done.
Right.
So definitely persistence, definitely adaptability, because you definitely anything could happen at any time. So you got to be able to think of ways to overcome and ways to fix things if you do things wrong, or new ways to do things. And you got to be authentic too. You got to be your true self to people, and you just got to build that good relationship with people.
Good rapport, yeah.
A good rapport, and yeah, just definitely persistence.
Yeah.
Number one thing, probably.
Yep. And success, it doesn't happen overnight. Just don't give up.
That's awesome.
Yeah. You gotta step out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, you gotta be comfortable with being uncomfortable. I tell my son that every day.
Yep.
Because he's the same as me. So
that's good advice.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a lot of books too.
Yeah.
Never read books as a kid, but as an adult, I love reading about, I even brought a couple over with me. But
yeah, what do you got? What do you got in there?
This is what I'm reading right now. I just started this.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
Just started it, so I didn't really get too far into it, but
he's for listeners that aren't on video, he's holding up Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Yep. And then
great book.
My big homie Marcus Aurelius, Meditations.
Meditations, yeah, you like the Stoics, huh?
I love Stoicism, and I love Marcus Aurelius. He's the man. And then this is my favorite book though, 7 Spiritual Laws of Success.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very big if you have a overthinking problem, and definitely help me a lot with just overcoming a lot of things and believing in yourself, and
taking that step back and just,
what else did I bring down? Oh, Rich Dad Poor Dad by
Robert Kiyosaki.
Yeah. This was actually the first business book I ever read, and that's one of the main reasons I was like, I can do this.
Yeah.
Because
I know Derek and I have talked about the cash flow quadrant on this show before, actually.
I actually bought that. I haven't read it yet, though.
Yeah? That's good. That's good.
Yeah, he's got a couple good ones out. I read that just after college, and very, very similar. He's very inspirational.
And then these two also.
The Alchemist
and the 4 Agreements.
Okay.
Books. Awesome books. The Alchemist is awesome.
I love it. Do you audiobook as well?
No, but I actually was listening to you talk about that, and I definitely learn a lot more audio wise.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna dive into that. Even these books, like the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, I read that. I read it in the back. I mark down every time I write it or read it, and so 7 times I read the book.
Nice. Yeah, I love the audiobooks just because I can, if I'm out on the farm doing stuff and I can't actually be looking at something, I can't be reading, and I'm in my car 3 or 4 hours a day, it seems like every day. So it's like, it's just nice to be able to continue reading and getting information instead of just listening to the radio. So
I listen to a lot of podcasts about, business and just,
man.
A lot of things.
What do you, other than obviously Blue Collar Startup, what other amazing podcasts do you listen to?
A lot of football stuff. Let me think. There's one that I love. It's called Stuff You Should Know. It's literally just really good. Random stuff. Yeah. It could be about anything, but they just deep dive into whatever it is.
Yeah.
I love ancient history. So
a lot of Greek.
A lot of Greek history. I'm trying to think of the name. Can't think off the top of my head, but a lot of ancient history podcasts, a lot of business, a lot of cryptocurrency. I'm into stocks and investing. So
cool.
Yeah, Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan. Who doesn't listen to Rogan? Love him or hate him, everybody.
Right. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
And last question for you guys. If someone wants to connect with you, I know that obviously a lot of stuff is in the process stage, right? Yes. So your website's being built, your logo's being built. You do obviously have a Google business profile. So if someone Googles Trojan Home Services, you guys pop right up.
Yep.
Yeah.
How do people get a hold of you if they want to hire you or learn more about you or just talk to you?
You could email us at Trojan Home Services LLC at Gmail.
Yeah.
That's a very, very easy way to get a hold of us. We check that constantly all day. So
Text.
yeah,
Call.
texts. I could leave my number if you want me to.
Up
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. 518-441-5151. It's easy to remember.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I really hope someone hears this, especially with the contractors and folks that we have that have been on the show and listened to the show, and someone reaches out to you and helps you get some more of that business going. So,
Yes.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate it.
yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you guys joining us. D, anything else before we wrap it up?
No, it's great. This is exciting. It's I think our first startup that we can track and check in with you guys periodically and see how your progress is coming. So we'll have you back for sure.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
That's exciting.
Yeah, I can't wait to have that conversation in like 6 months to a year and see where you guys are at and how it's going.
Absolutely.
So that's super
awesome.
fun.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, thanks again, guys, for coming on, and thanks everybody for listening. Thank you also to MLB Construction. If you're watching, I'm wearing your hat. Those guys were kind enough to donate some money and help us with some scholarships, and also the folks over at Michael's Group, same thing. Thank you, everyone, for your support and donations. If anybody's looking to give some money away, let us know. We're always looking for money to help pay for the cost of the show, help give away for scholarships. We're coming up with some new sponsorship packages and stuff too to kind of do some fun things and help get the show out there. Thanks to Derek's team and thanks to our team for all the things that they do to help with the show as well. And if you're looking for us, Blue Collar Startup.io is our website, and I think that's also our Instagram. And we're on Facebook now. We recast an old Facebook page that I had from my former company, and so we had like a ready-made Facebook page with like 700-800 followers. So that's pretty cool, getting some traction.
There you go.
So
yep.
follow us on the Facebook, the Instagram, subscribe on YouTube, leave a review. And thanks everybody for listening. We really appreciate it. Thanks again, guys.
Thank you. We appreciate it a lot.